Everyone, and welcome to LGE coverage LSR F1 2021 race here for the Group 2 Championship for Round 5, the United States Grand Prix. I'm just watching Mango going around on his outlap, but we have to believe that Mango and another driver has got themselves a qualifying ban for this race. I'm alongside More Games, usual commentator for this Saturday night Group 2 race, and he'll fill me in on who the other driver was to not be able to participate in qualifying.
I'm good, yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Looking forward to this USA Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting one, and the one other driver with that qualifying ban is Mango's main rival in the championship. It's going to be Yuki. So the two big dogs will be starting from the very back of the grid, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
It is going to be interesting, Bob, but on the other hand, Mango is actually setting a lap at the moment.
Yeah, it's the rule for the qualifying ban is you have to go out for an outlap to confirm that your setup has loaded in, and then you have to come back into the pit lane and retire. But it does say that Mango is on a proper lap.
Yes.
So is it as this qualifying ban? And if he does actually set a lap time in this session, that's going to lead to a race disqualification. He'll score 0 points in this Grand Prix, so hopefully he realizes at the last second, because it does look like he is on a lap with hot lap engaged on the medium compounded tyres, and he better hope that he remembers at the last second to come into the pit lane and retire from the session, as Not Your Vapor sets the fastest lap with Zayek stealing it away straight away with 32.1.
He certainly does, and Zayek, I've known him in other league races in LFR earlier on in the week to be doing really well in qualifying at the moment. Been having some strong qualifying performances so far. I'm just with the AlphaTauri of Danny Stillers coming down the back straight towards turn 12. One of the prime overtaking spots, and Mango has set a lap more. So that...
And it looks like, yeah, he might be disqualified from tonight's race, and instead of starting from the back of the grid and maybe having a difficult time, but at least being in with a chance of scoring points, he will be disqualified from tonight's race, and the qualifying ban will carry over. Now, I'm not 100% if that is the rule. I'll have a look now, but if I'm not mistaken, I think that is the rule. I'm going to have a quick double check there.
Of course, the other thing that he could do more to save himself would actually just get himself disqualified on track now and set himself at the back of the field. I suppose that would be the only way to rectify his mistake now. But unless he's listening to what we're saying, he won't potentially know about it, unless he has already thought about it after he gets into the pits and surely realises that he's made a dreadful mistake. And I don't think we've seen Yuki. Yuki is on an outlap, so hopefully he'll have some sense this time and actually bail into the pits before the final corner. He's on the intermediate tyres, so that is looking like the case as he runs down the back straight.
Yeah, so I definitely think I've just had a quick check with the rules there, and all it says is that you have to go out for an outlap to confirm your setup to make sure everything is in working order, but you must not set a lap time. Now, I'm not sure if the stewards have decided what the penalty is going to be. Is it going to be a race disqualification, or will the quali ban carry over into the next race? I guess we will know, hopefully, soon enough. I'm going to ask a few of the stewards to see what their thoughts are on Mango actually setting a lap time, but I think Yuki on those intermediates, as you can see now, coming into the pit lane, and he will be retiring from the session and starting at the back of the grid. And this could be a big points gain for Yuki if Mango is in fact disqualified from the session.
It certainly will do. It'll be a big waste of an effort from Mango. Let's hope that isn't the case, as Killers sets a lap in the Aston Martin, goes 5th fastest with a 1:33.6. And we've got the McLaren of Vaneski starting his lap. I hope I said that right. I may have potentially butchered that more.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was just asking the head steward to see what the consequence is going to be, because currently Yuki has 99 points in the championship. I think he's won every race so far, apart from possibly an exception at France, which was the last round, which he did actually win. The only round that he has not won this season was at Austria, where King Benny just about got the best of him and won in his debut race in LSR. But currently in the championship, we have Yuki with 99 points, 1 point away from 100 points in just 4 rounds. And Mix Mango, or SL Mango as his PSN is, it only has 34 points. So Mango has a decent 65 point lead. And there's been rumors that he should be moved up to Group 1, the highest division in LSR. But he keeps telling us that he cannot make the race times. So the admins are all getting together and deciding what to do with him. But for now, he is still racing in Division 2 and absolutely dominating this championship, not only in the Drivers' Championship, but also in the Constructors, with his teammate Notzer Vapor scoring some decent points in the championship.
Well, that was very interesting indeed, as Mango has certainly been dominating with the form he's obviously been on, thanks for that little roundup of the season so far. More with Zayek still on provisional pole. He hasn't validated his lap time, however, and still quite a few drivers yet to set a lap time. We've got a Senna about to start a lap in the sister Red Bull with his teammate in a bit of a predicament, and we haven't even had lights out here at USA. We've got a few more drivers about to complete a lap. The first one to do so is the Aston Martin of Alexis Beast, as he looks like he's diving into the pits.
It looks like I've just got a confirmation from the head steward. I was wrong with the disqualification. Obviously some leagues do that, but this league is an exception. If you don't serve your qualifying ban, then you will get penalty points added to your license, which can eventually is what got Mango this qualifying ban, getting too many penalty points from certain incidents across the season. And he will get extra penalty points for not serving this quali ban, and he will have to serve it for the next round. And that is what the head steward says here in LSR.
And what is the next round, more out of interest?
I'll have to have a quick check here of the old LSR calendar, and it looks like the next round after Coda is the Bahrain Grand Prix, and it wasn't the season opener this season. The season opener was the Belgian Grand Prix at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, but this season Bahrain is right in the middle of the season at round 6, and that is going to be in 2 weeks' time. And yeah, that's when Mango is going to have to take his qualifying ban, and who knows, that might even put him at an advantage. Maybe he's done this tactically, because America, it's not the hardest circuit to overtake, but it's definitely not the easiest, whereas Bahrain has 2 DRS zones in a row on the pit straight and the straight just after turn 3. So maybe he's playing this quite tactically to serve his qualifying ban in the right position, and maybe the stewards will take note of that, maybe give him an even bigger penalty than he's already going to get. But right now he's sitting P2 in this session, just ahead of his teammate, 3/10 off the road of his teammate, and he is on those medium compound of tires. So SL Mango has put himself in a great position in this qualifying session, and the one session where he's got himself a qualifying ban. So yeah, like I said, he's going to get those penalty points, but he's already set a lap, so he may as well just try as hard as he can to get a good qualifying position, and just do as well as he can in the race, and possibly, you know, take a chunk out of Yuki's lead. as, like I said before, 65-point lead. Yuki has really been winning almost every race apart from Austria, of course, so Mango definitely needs to score some points on his Mercedes rival.
He certainly does, and as you said, maybe some tactics in play for the Red Bull man, and let's just hope it was just an innocent mistake. He's been watching on board with the Haas driver of Zayek into the complex part of Sector 2 and then into the start of Sector 3. Welcome along everyone who's just joining us for this LSR Group 2 race, Group 3 is next Sunday, Group 2 race here at the United States Grand Prix on the F1 2021 game. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also crucially, as we're almost at the 200 mark now, only a couple to go, literally, so hopefully you'll be able to do that for us this evening. We've still got 4 drivers who are yet to set a lap. We're just on board with the Alpha Tauri of Pro Strike, coming through the S's, and a bit of an homage to the Maggots and Beckett's complex here, a little bit tighter, more S's as well. Really do enjoy that first sector once you get it right, as he comes down to turn 11 and now on to the long back straight, arguably the best overtaking. He needs to get himself a decent lap time on the board, preferably as close or higher to it than his teammate as he comes into this twisty middle part of the lap, turns 13 and 14, and then another great switchback overtaking opportunity here at turns 15 and 16. Looks like Godfather has put himself on the front row in the Ferrari with a 132.380. Oh, so close to the Haas driver ahead of him, and unless he's going to do another lap after this cooldown lap, that will be the end of his session. I don't see how he'll be able to get back out on a fresh set. So it's all starting to heat up more towards the end of this qualifying session.
Looks like IRS Pro Strikers just set a 33.5, and that's going to put him at P9 in the session. Now, America's definitely a very interesting track strategy-wise, because as you can see, Electric MB, Zudi, Pro Striker and Mango, well, not Mango the only exception, they've all left it to the end of the session to go onto those medium compounded tires and try to get a lap in when the track evolution is at its best, and that could be a big strategy call from them, but they need to be getting themselves into the top 10 to make a difference. If I'm not mistaken, I did a league race here recently, and I think the pit stop strategy is a soft medium strategy, but the wear is quite high and the tire temps are very, very tricky to keep in check, and you either want to be lowering those tire pressures, or you will have to conserve your tires quite heavily. And as you can see, the only 2 drivers yet to set a lap are Zudi and Electric MB, and it looks like Zudi actually invalidated his lap time on mediums, and he's now invalidated this lap, and I don't think he is going to have enough time. He might have enough time to just about get around the circuit for a last lap sprint to the end to try and get any sort of time in on these mediums, but you could see people who are pushing as hard as they can on the soft tires and still qualifying out of the top 10, them being slower in qualifying might actually give them a better chance in the race, as being on the medium soft strategy here at America is very, very powerful, as the delta between the medium compounded tires and the soft compound tires is absolutely massive at this track. Having a look at Electric MV here, who's left it very late in the session, less than a minute to go before the session is over, and he is on those medium compounded tires. Hasn't set a lap time yet in the session. Didn't want to use these soft compounded tires, as he needs to get his best lap in on mediums, and if he set his best lap on those softs, it would have been very, very hard to beat. on the mediums. Just finished up the first
Invalidates.
sector there, and it actually looks like he goes wide there and invalidates his lap time, so he is not going to be getting a lap time in this session. So looks like Electric Envy won't be setting a lap time.
Well, that was a little bit silly. He made a one-shot qualifying of his own making, as we've got 3 drivers pulling over to the left-hand side. No drivers on a lap. One of the drivers that is on a lap is Zuti, the Alfa Romeo, also giving himself a one-shot qualifying of his own making. The checkered flag is now out, and the top 2 drivers cannot improve any further than they have done already. We've got Mango and Pro Striker on the medium tyres, and we've got an invalidation from Zuti. We're going to have 3 drivers not setting a time, 1 with a quali ban and 2 who have invalidated their lap times and also left it right to the end of the session to set their one and only lap time. As I said, that was of their own making. As we see Not So Vapor taking the provisional pole with a 1:31.9, the only driver to get into the 1:31s. We've got A Senna on a lap, or is he? No, he's not, because he has invalidated that lap time. Danny Stillers is in the pit. Only Santo is left on a lap, and now he backs out of it. So I think more that is the end of qualifying.
Yeah, that was very impressive there from Not So Vapor, leaving it to the death of the session to set his final lap time and steals pole position away from Zayek, who has just been increasing in experience. You know, he's at the start of this season, he really was not doing well, finishing at the back of the grid, having a few spins, a few crashes, but he's made his way all the way up to the point where he is now, where he's qualified on the front row in that Haas car and looking to score good points for the team. It's really been amazing to watch him grow as a driver, but obviously Not So Vapor stealing that pole position away at the death of the session and dipping in to the 1:31s. That's a very impressive time for a Group 2 driver, and he is the only driver to do that, and he is going to get pole by 2/10. SL Mango, who was meant to serve his qualifying ban, has just qualified in the top 5 behind his teammate and on fresh, well, relatively fresh, medium compound tyres, with IRS Pro Striker going out a second time on those mediums, and was actually able to set a lap towards the end of the session to put himself in P6 and on the alternate strategy. So that was definitely a great performance from him. But what do you think of that qualifying session? 2/10 pole position over Zayek there.
It was pretty close between the top 4, 5/10 between, or just over 5/10, as we've had Not So Vapor take pole position with Zayek on the front with him. We'll just do the top 10 as we've got little time remaining. Godfather finished in 3rd place in qualifying. 4th was a Senna. Mango was 5th, supposed to have a qualifying ban. Pro Striker was 6th. Danny Stiller was 7th. Hadcock was in 8th, the American, for his home race. Vaneski was in 9th, and I didn't get to 10th, unfortunately. But we will get into the Grand Prix itself now. Looks like we've got 16 drivers for this Grand Prix. We did have one latecomer to the party, but better late than never. I'm assuming, as we've not heard anything in the comments more, that we're going to have a dry race. Otherwise, I'm sure, as usual, comments do usually light up when it's a wet race, and there you go. We're in the south part of America, in Texas, and they do get rain there, but not too often, as we're going to get underway with the formation lap in a few moments' time. I think more we're going to be expecting a lot of the drivers towards the back to be on the medium tyres, I would presume, outside the top 10. I've got a feeling that the soft runners might have to try and do a 2-stop here, potentially, if memory serves.
Well, at a lot of tracks, the tyre wear, even when the tyre wear is quite high, the game itself, if some drivers on the grid, they might not know that the game strategies aren't always right, and at this track, it is a 2-stop, and that's what the game says, but you'll see in a lot of the top league races, or even any league race at all, or esports, if you watch that, it is usually a 1-stop around here, a soft medium strategy. And
there you go.
I think it's... Sorry?
Sorry, I was saying it was just, I don't know if it came up for you, the pit stop strategy just came up on our screen, so it was a 2-stop that came up. I don't know if it came up for you more. Just wanted to see
No,
if
it didn't, sir.
the viewers could see it. Yeah, talking about tyres, Bud, outside the top 10 there is 17 drivers, not 16 drivers, apologies for that, but only one driver outside, 2 drivers outside the top 10 are on the soft compound tyre. Every other driver is on the mediums. So Santo and Vipers is, I'm assuming, going to want to get a really good start and a really good first lap.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to do something there. And I'm going to have to be honest with you. I completely disagree with the game there. I think a one stop is definitely possible. Your tire wear might be quite high, and if you haven't lowered your tire temperatures, which a lot of drivers tend to forget to change their setups just before the race, your tire temps might be quite high, and that's going to contribute to a lot more tire wear. But yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a medium to soft or soft medium strategy. And I think another thing worth noting is since even though Ikos Yuki got a qualifying ban, even though Zudi failed to set a lap time, Yuki is actually qualifying just ahead of him. So Ikos Yuki will not be at the very back of the grid, but he is going to be on the back of today's Grand Prix.
Well, he had that opportunity, of course, to start there anyway if Mango had served his qualifying ban, which he was supposed to, and cheekily looks like he's got away with it for a week. But yeah, Zuti actually got called out there with not being able to settle that time, and actually starts behind the driver who was supposed to start at the back, as we've got drivers forming up on the grid, and we're just waiting for Zuti, who was quite a way back from the other drivers. We've got Knots of Vapor on the front row on that pole position alongside Zayek for the start of this Grand Prix. Got Zuti lining up on the back row in 17th position, and it looks like we'll get underway in a few moments. And now we are going to, we've got 3, 4 and 5 red lights. We're away for Group 2's United States Grand Prix, and Knots of Vapor looks like he's got a good start, got a good launch against Zayek. We've got a Red Bull looking like he's going to go for a big lunge on the inside there, but gets cut out by his teammate. The Haas driver Zayek is all off the road. There's a McLaren and an AlphaTauri in the background. A Prost strikes, and Venski, who is made contact there, and Venski has lost a few positions, and he has to back out of it against the Alpine driver. But it looks like everyone has come out pretty much unscathed as we go into the end of the first sector and to the start of the second. We've had Zuti make up 7 places on the start more, and that certainly is a great performance in the first sector.
Yeah, I think that's amazing from Zudi there with Electric MB right on his back and actually going down the inside there as he tries to get a better exit, but Zudi on those mediums is able to get better traction out. Said unscathed, but I saw a massive collision there between Mango, who's now going down the inside at turn 11 on IRS Pro Striker, but I think Vacant Haddock and Mango had a massive collision into turn 1. Haddock's car actually scooped up Mango's car, and there was a lot of glitched contact there. But I think Haddock's actually gone and lost his front wing, and I think Worried Cloud might have been caught up in that action, as he is now 3.7 seconds off of P15, and if you ride on board with Vacant Haddock, he has absolutely no grip going through the corners. Massive understeer, has to lift going through that triple right-hander. So I think those two drivers have not had the best start, as Mango trying to move himself back up the field, as it looks like a mistake there from Danny Stiller, who I think was defending the inside, lost a little bit of time there. There's going to be under pressure from his teammate on the medium compound of tyres, but Mango back up into P5 on the medium compound of tyres.
I was going to say, this isn't a wise decision for the AlphaTauri drivers. Maybe Danny Stiller should be letting Pro Striker through, really. He's let the Alpine driver through as well. Exactly. Don't really want to be fighting with your teammate. He is fighting back, though, and is going to have the inside line for turn 11. Who is later on the brakes? It's looking like an equal measure between the two drivers as the Alpine gets the better exit, and he stays in that 7th place And Vipers is now going to try and hunt down the teammate of Danny Sillers in Pro Striker. The number 8 car is the other Alpha Tauri. Looks like he's going to try and go for a move. Killers is going for a move though on the Mercedes of Yuki, who is now off the track and is now lost the position. The back markers are really trying to fight with one of the championship protagonists as he's coming up towards turn 16. On the inside, looks like the Alfa Romeo, who's trying to sneak in as well. Zuti, he was up 7 places, now dropped down a few more, side by side between the Aston Martin and Mercedes as they go into the penultimate corner. And we have a car out of Alexis Beast, and that is a virtual safety car.
Yeah, it looks like he must have made contact there with another driver. If you ride with Worried Cloud or Bacon Haddock, who just passed him there. Looks like his car was sideways just on entry of the penultimate corner, and he must have been going side by side with someone there. But Zudi, who was up so many positions out of the first sector, obviously the delta between those mediums, like I said before, is absolutely massive, and he just lost so many positions to a lot of the soft compound tire runners, as Ikos Yuki, under the virtual safety car, has gotten himself another warning, which has led to a 3-second time penalty. The track limits here at Coda are very, very difficult, and that's obviously been shown, as even under the virtual safety car conditions, Ikos Yuki still getting warnings. And Ace Senna is another man with a 3-second time penalty, and that is going to put him back quite a few places. But Not Sir Vapor, it looks like he's been able to defend his lead so far, as we're in the middle of lap 3 and the virtual safety car is now over. It looks like Not Sir Vapor has actually broken the DRS to Zayek, but it looks like Vicensky having a little look around the outside on Danny Stills, and it's going to dive all the way down the inside, and it looks like he just about got that move done. Very late braking there from Vicensky in that McLaren.
Well, it looks like Vicensky got himself one of the best overtakes of the day, potentially, as there is a 4-car train. Actually, potentially a 6-car train, actually, for this 8th place. So there's only a 1.5 second gap from Valensky to Vipers. As we run up the hill into turn 1. Danny Stillers on the inside of the McLaren there. Gets a move back, moves himself into 8th place. I feel like we're going to see a lot of moves between these two drivers in the coming laps.
Yeah, and it actually looks like Vicensky might have wing damage there, as going into turn 1, Electric Envy just broke a little bit too late, wasn't able to predict what was about to happen, and he actually bumped Vicensky into the back of Danny Stillers, as it looks like Quick Killers has made a mistake in the second sector, and that is going to send him back quite a few seconds to Zudi ahead of him, who is now at the back of this train. As it looks like SL Mango making moves, getting up into P4, very late braking from him. Electric Envy also trying to go down the inside of Vicensky into turn 11. Can he get a better exit going into turn 12? It looks like Vicensky with the inside line. Electric Envy tries to hold it around the outside, does not have enough grip for that, and is going to have to settle for P10 for now. But if we ride with the off-board camera following Vicensky, trying to have a quick look to see if he has wing damage, because he has lost the DRS to Danny Stillers ahead of him, whether that's a pace issue or if he has got damage to his wing, as he does not come into the pit lane. So it looks like he's lost a bit of pace, and he's going to be under quite a bit of pressure now from Electric Envy with the DRS right behind him. So as we look like, it looks like Electric Envy from very far back has a look down the inside, but that move obviously never going to work, and is now under pressure from Ikos Yuki, who started at the back of the grid in this American Grand Prix.
Opportunistic is the word that springs to mind for Electric Envy there for that move at turn 1. We've got a yellow flag, a driver out. That's in the pit lane, however, so it shouldn't cause any disruptions with a green flag race. As Danny Stillers moves up on Vipers, maybe that was a bit of DRS chicken going on there. As a potential
Godfather
switch back
at turn 11 now.
as Godfather gets past before the braking zone. Quick Killers has left the session, and Vipers is up the inside on Danny Stillers. I said this is probably the best overtaking spot on the circuit at the start of the stream. It's looking like the case. However, Yuki is fighting alongside Electric Envy as they go into this complex section in Sector 2. Switcheroo for Yuki as he goes up the inside now. A bit of wheel banging between the two of them. And now he's going to look to try and hold it round the outside. But the Ferrari, however, has got something to say about this. And he wants to hold on to this 8th place. But no, he gets squeezed off the 9th place. He gets squeezed off the track, but is able to hold on for now. They're still side by side as they come out of the final corner. Some more wheel banging between the two of them. It's turning into Dodgems more than Grand Prix racing.
Yeah, it looked like that, and as they were going
say that, contact!
There's Electric Envy into the back of Ecos Yuki there, and that might be wing damage for Electric Envy. I guess we'll see if he has understeer through the S's, and right now it looks like he's able to somewhat stick with Yuki, but as Yuki and Electric Envy went side by side, it's a big tank slapper there from Electric Envy.
He's round and trying to get himself facing in the right direction now. It does, and unfortunately he's cost himself a few positions, which did give us a few laps of entertainment there. Very close racing between Yuki, Electric Envy, Vipers, Danny Stillers. It's a big battle in this group. Electric Envy is still trying to get himself facing in the right direction. Pro Strikers gets through on a Senna and moves himself up into 5th place. We've also got Vipers in the Alpine, getting very close to the back of that Alpha Tauri. But of course, there is now a big fight for the lead. Not Vapor is in the lead at the moment as it stands, but he's got two drivers of a Ferrari of Godfather and Zayek in the Haas breathing down his neck as Zayek gets a poor exit. But Not Vapor is looking quite in control of it at the moment. Doesn't look like he's getting too much D-racing either more, so saving battery. But Godfather has got himself a literal ton of battery. It looks like it's completely fully charged, and he should be prepared for a full charge attack on that Merc ahead of him.
Yeah, I think he definitely should be. It looks like he's used literally no ERS this entire race, so he's been pushing quite hard on pace alone rather than using the battery. But I think it's worth noting, as Yuki and Electric Envy were going side by side, Vicensky and Zudi were going side by side in the background, and Zudi and Vicensky make contact, and that is why Vicensky is on fresh mediums, as he had to box for a new front wing. And as it looks like Godfather is now going for a move on Not Vapor down the inside into turn 11, and he has now got the lead of this Grand Prix, but it looks like Not Vapor trying to fight back there, as he's now going to have the outside line for this next turn, and does not look like he's going to be able to hold it around the outside there, as Ecos Yuki making up positions in this American Grand Prix.
So Zayek has got a good view at the moment of the battle ahead of him, but he doesn't want a good view, he wants a good battle, and now he's going to try and make that happen of his own making, and is the first one to pull the trigger and come into the pit lane of the top three. So he's looking for that undercut, and I'm sure that Not Vapor and Godfather should respond to this, but they are fighting themselves, which of course is great news for Zayek, as long as he gets out in some clean air.
Yeah, I think Zayek might have messed up the strategy, but we'll have to see if Godfather and Not Vapor are going to follow him in. Like I said before the game, predicting the two-stop strategy with the pit window opening on lap 8. Zayek, the only person to come into the pit lane for fresh stops. He is on the two-stop in this race, but I think if Godfather and Not Vapor don't come in this lap, they're going to be looking at a one-stop strategy, usually on the one stop. You want to be boxing around lap 12 as Not So Vapor has a good run on Godfather down into turn 11. He has the inside line. Godfather tries to hold it around the outside. A little bit of contact there between Not So Vapor and Godfather, but Not So Vapor is now back into the lead in this Grand Prix in the exact same spot where Godfather overtook him. But a bit of an ambitious move here from Godfather, and it looks like a bit of lag there, and possibly I'm not sure if that was lag or if that was the quickest reset to track that I have ever seen, because that was lightning fast. This car just straightened up all of a sudden.
I did think that. It did look like a reset, but I don't think it would let you do that quickly. I don't think. I hope it wasn't a reset to track, but I don't think so. I think it was a little bit of lag. As you said about Zayek.
Yeah, must have been.
Is as Vipers comes into the pits. Talking about Zayek a minute ago, maybe he has got himself onto a alternative strategy, definitely, but is it the wrong strategy? As the driver's in the lead at the moment, yet to pit, but it looks like he's going to make short work of duty in the next coming corners rather than laps.
Yeah, and it looks like Mango now in the Red Bull on the medium compound of tyres. As the game predicted, the tyres do start to fall off around lap 8, and that is why the game suggests a 2-stop, but the 1-stop definitely possible. But the softs are going to start falling off, and this is going to allow Mango and Pro Striker to gain some ground. And as you can see, Mango running a great race here. In P3, in the DRS of the top 2, and on the medium compound of tyres. If you can keep this up, he'll be looking good for a race win as he bolts on the softs for the last few laps of the Grand Prix, and he's definitely going to be a lot faster than the top 2. But yeah, as you can see here, the top 2 haven't boxed yet, as Not So Vapor thinks about it, and Godfather responds to that. So they boxed on lap 9, and I think they might be going on to the 2-stop strategy as Pro Striker gets himself a 3-second time penalty. But speaking of strategies, I know Mango is definitely a very quick driver. He's raced in many leagues, as Zayek, as you can see, flying on those fresh softs as he fast off at the Grand Prix for 35.7. But I think Mango will be trying that 1-stop. Every other driver might be trying the 2-stop, but as you can see, Godfather has gone on to the medium compound of tyres, so he's obviously thought that Not So Vapor was going for the 1-stop, but he was wrong. So now Godfather has gone for a massive undercut, as he's come in 3 laps probably earlier than he probably should have, and that's really going to compromise him towards the end of the Grand Prix. But as you can see, Godfather and clearly knows something that Not So Vapor doesn't, because Not So Vapor on those soft tyres, definitely going for the 2-stop, as you have to use 2 different compounds of tyres. But Godfather, I think, is going to try and go for that 1-stop. But his tyres are definitely going to be extremely worn towards the end of the Grand Prix. But I think Ecos, Yuki, and Mango, they've raced in many leagues. They definitely know that the 1-stop is possible, and that could put them at a serious advantage over Not So Vapors and Zayek. But it looks like Worry Cloud retires in the first sector, and that's a safety car.
Yeah,
a safety car. And could this change up the strategy for any drivers, as we see Mango coming into the pit lane now?
It certainly will, especially drivers like Yuki. Yes, it might be a little bit early, but why wouldn't you go for the pit stop now? It's a free opportunity, as Yuki does come in, and it might be a good opportunity for those drivers who stayed out. Of course, it's great for Zayek, because he's going to take the lead now with that big undercut. And Not So Vapor's actually come in again. Does that mean he's going to go on to the medium tyres and try and stick them to the end? We're probably going to get a couple of laps of this safety car at least, so we at least won't get started until lap 14, possibly 15. I think it's going to come to be medium tyres more to the end. That might be a winning strategy there for Not So Vapor.
Yeah, I mean, this strategy has completely mixed up the grid now with this safety car. This has really hurt Mango, Pro Strikers, and Yuki's race. who all started on the medium compound of tyres, wanted to go quite deep into this race, put on softs towards the end, but with this mid-race safety car, Mango, Pro Striker and Yuki have all been forced to go onto the soft tyres, but it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to box for the mediums, because if they box for the mediums, they will be able to go to the end of the Grand Prix, but they will lose quite a bit of track position. But as you can see now, Godfather, he went for the mediums, he went for that big undercut, now in P3, and he's going to save quite a bit of tyre wear going nice and slowly under safety car conditions, and this might mitigate how much tyre wear he's going to have towards the end of the Grand Prix, and he might be on the perfect strategy. But as you can see, he has got himself a 3-second time penalty, which is really going to affect his race position and how he races, because he can't just stick in the DRS of another driver or let another driver follow him through. He has to push to get the driver behind out of DRS, which right now is Pro Striker. So I think Danny Stillers might be one to watch. He is going to go to the end of the Grand Prix, hopefully, if he knows that the one stop is possible. And he is the only driver in the top 9, apart from Mango and Zayek, without a 3-second time penalty. So Danny Stillers could be looking at a good points haul here for AlphaTauri, along with Pro Striker, currently P4. Looks like it could be a good day for AlphaTauri, and also Red Bull with 2 drivers in the top 6.
It certainly does. Looks like we will get underway in the at the end of this lap we're just coming on to now, and so the racing will get underway on lap 13 as we're on lap 12. We're just before half race distance. That'll be lap 14. There's a change of drivers there, I'm assuming by mistake. Got themselves back into the right positions now. So yeah, this strategy has really opened up everything. I don't think the drivers who have gone onto the softs, I think especially someone like Eko Yuki, who was on the medium tyres at the start and sort of was gifted a free pit stop there, so I'm not surprised he's gone on to the softs, tried to hold them out to the end. Of course, we get another safety car here, body pit, for another set of softs, because it will be a bit of a stretch, and drivers like the Godfather, Moore and Not So Vapor, and drivers like that and Ace Senna, they've all gone on really good strategies with turning onto that medium tyre, where especially we saw with Not So Vapor on the soft tyre change back to the medium after just pitting before, with that pretty much a free pit stop for him. And it's going to be a really interesting final half of this race. I said not a half distance yet. We'll be at the end of the next lap. Safety car is in this lap, like I predicted, and we'll get back underway. Zayek has now got the pace. He's effectively the safety car until he gets himself underway at his own choosing, as long as the safety car is at the safety car line 1, which is just before the pit lane entry. So, can we really put our finger on who's going to win this race, More? I don't think we can.
I don't think we can. For safety cars, obviously the mediums in qualifying were the preferred tyres, as Zaya going quite early and forced to slow down before the final turn. But it looks like he's trying to get away as quickly as possible, as he is now going away for the safety car restart.
And we're looking like we're going to go up towards turn 1 with Zayek not so comfortably in the lead. And I tell you who isn't comfortably in 4th place is Pro Striker, with Yuki going up the inside of the AlphaTauri and gets into 4th place. And now is on the charge for Godfather ahead on the medium tyres. He's going to have tyre advantage over the Ferraris. We go through the S's in sector 1. And looks like Mango is going to try and pounce on the first place man of Zayek in the Haas, who did pit early on in this race and is weak in terms of the tyre call at the moment. And we've got drivers jostling for position at the back as well, as we see Electric Envy alongside Vanetsky. And now Yuki is going past Godfather, or is he? He's gone off the track. He's going to potentially have to give that back, and does, and is now going to have slipstream, but Pro Striker is now going to get involved. We're going to have a 3 abreast more down towards turn 12 as we now go down towards turn 12 on lap 13, and there is contact. Godfather is out. We didn't see that on the screen. That might be a safety car, and it is, and it's a nice little reset. But
yeah,
unfortunately for Godfather, not. What happened?
Yeah,
I didn't catch it. The camera wasn't there.
They were 3 wide there, and I had the off-board cam, so I'm not sure 100% what happened, but I think obviously Godfather had to leave space for both Yuki and Pro Striker, but as he tried to leave space for Yuki, possibly could have drifted into Pro Striker's line, and it sent Godfather into the wall and broke Pro Striker's front wing. But you know, before this safety car, my choice to win the race probably would have been the Godfather, but he is now out of the session, and Ikos, Yuki, SL, Mango and Zayak have all opted to stay out on the soft compound tires instead of coming in for the mediums. For Ikos, Yuki and SL Mango, I can understand why they've made that strategy call. They're obviously committing to the 2-stop, unlike most drivers, but Zayak on 5-lap-old softs, I think he definitely should have come in for mediums there, as that would have taken him to the end of the Grand Prix. And now the strategies up and down the grid are completely split. No one knows what they're doing or what is going on, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see who comes out on top.
I'm interested to see not Survivor that went into the pits there for not a new set of medium tyres. It had done 1 lap, so pretty new. Just done 1 heat cycle. But yeah, I'm surprised about that. We're only on lap 14. It's a bit of a stretch, I think, more towards the end of the Grand Prix with the tyre wear.
Softs can make it.
I don't think so. I think he's expecting the safety car to stay out longer than it's going to, because of course we just had one. So there's no real waiting for traffic to catch up.
Yeah, so not Survivor. I don't know if that was the right call there. There's only 3 people on fresh mediums now. That's Danny Stillers, who already had fresh mediums, decided to come in for even fresher mediums, losing all of his track position. Not sure if that was the right strategy. Viperez on the fresh mediums now in P10 without a penalty. And I'm going to be honest, he could be one to watch in this Grand Prix. Asena and Santo only having 3-lap-old mediums. I think Asena has put himself in a pretty good position, but Zayak, Mango and Yuki, I'm still very surprised at their decision. With all their league racing experience, they probably should have known better to come into the mediums, play it safe, and end off their Grand Prix. You know, some drivers here could be banking on another safety cars. Vachensky there was looking to come into the pit lane and then completely cut the white line. Now, that could be a penalty for Vachensky. What's happened there?
He's made contact with Haddock there, down the start-finish straight with the Williams just ahead of him. As he says, he's just made a controversial move there. In my opinion, more with that just coming into the pit lane and diving out. I don't mind a little bit of a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit exit line. I've seen it before, but not very often. That penalty, that is a strange penalty to get, a very unnecessary penalty to get. But with Vaneski, he came into the pit, and I'm not sure if the stewards would want to have a look at that more, because that. I don't know if it's in the rules. A little unsported, I think.
I think the stewards are definitely not going to be happy with that one. That could be a penalty if reported, and I think I know exactly what he was trying to do. This game is quite buggy when it comes down to the safety car, and if the game thinks you're coming into the pit lane, it doesn't register the fact that you're behind any drivers, because it won't matter since you're boxing for new tyres. So if you try to come into the pit lane and overtake another driver, the game thinks that you were ahead and that you haven't overtaken under the safety car. So yeah, I think that's definitely going to have to be looked in by the stewards. But Zayak, a 5-second penalty for crossing that white line. He didn't box when the safety car first came out, but he boxed 1 lap later, now at the back of the grid, and you only get that 5-second time penalty if you cross the white line on exit twice. So, yeah, I think that's put Zayek at a massive disadvantage there, but he is on the right strategy at least, whereas Mango and Yuki, I'm not too sure about those two, but they're both on soft compound tyres, relatively fresh, done most of their laps under the safety car, and I think they're going to be pushing each other to the absolute limit, and maybe Mango not taking his quali ban wasn't worth it after all, as Yuki is going to be battling him for the lead anyways.
He certainly is, and we're about to get underway. He's leaving it rather late, later than Zayek did, but Zayek went too early last time, and he's a bit squirrely at the final corner and gets himself pointing in the right direction. But Yuki looks like he's going to go for it into turn 1, and does go for it as Mango looks like he moved under braking there. That was ultra defensive by the Red Bull driver, Max Verstappen-esque from the Red Bull drivers. They're almost about to go side by side through the S's, and Yuki backs out of it. What do you think of that? What do you think of that one more? With Mango, is Santo loses 2 positions there on the start, and Pro Striker gets passed by Perez.
Yeah, I was watching that battle, and obviously Yuki made a massive dive down the inside there. We've seen it before in
Another
Austria,
big dive
as
coming now from
Paddock
Haddock.
now going down the inside on a Senna,
Or
and
is he?
Senna tries to go for the switchback there, but Bacon is going to keep that position. But it looks like Senna using quite a bit of his ERS now. Is he going to be looking for a move down into turn 11? And I think the answer is yes. And is Bacon going to try and hold this around the outside? He is going to try, but can he do it? As it looks like he does. He's now going to have the inside line for this next turn, as Senna tries to back out of that to possibly go for the switchback here. But it looks like Bacon has got that position, and is now up into P3.
As Not So Vapor, just gets up the inside there of Vineski at turn 16. So they now go side by side through turn 17 and 18. He'll have the inside line for 19. A little bit of a rub there between the two drivers as he now moves himself up into 5th place. Great racing and racecraft by Not So Vapor there. Pro Striker now trying to make short work of Vineski, who's lost a couple of places and a couple of corners potentially. If this goes well for the Alpha Tauri driver, looks like he gets ahead on the exit of turn 1. Softs versus the mediums, no match, as the Aston Martin Alfa Romeo of, again, all my teams up today, Alfa Romeo gets through on the Ferrari of Electric Envy. Zusi moves up to 8th place, and I think Ace Senna is looking in quite a strong position at the moment. More with those with those soft tyres, I don't think they're going to be very strong at the end of the race compared to the medium if Ace Senna can just hold on to this queue of cars ahead. But it looks like Mango has stretched his advantage to Yuki there a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like Yuki must have made a mistake down the road, because the gap is now 3 seconds. But if we look to the very, very back of the grid, 40 seconds off of the pack, look who it is. It was the man who was leading this Grand Prix, decided to box for the mediums 1 lap after the safety car came out, got himself a 5-second time penalty for crossing the pit lane exit line, and has now made a mistake on the safety car restart, broken his front wing, come into the pit lane for a new set of medium compound tyres, and the driver who was looking so good this weekend is now essentially out of this Grand Prix. There's a little bit of action here between Vicensky, Electric Envy, and Zudi, as it does not look like the best exit there for Vicensky. Electric Envy ducked into the slipstream, but it does not look like he's going to be going
Not So Vapor, sorry, more Not So Vapor just tried to sneak up the inside there. That black Merc almost did a ninja style overtake there. It was very, very discreet and just pounced at the final moment, but wasn't able to make it work, unfortunately. But Vineski and Electric Envy are going side by side through the S's as they now go into turn 7 and now turn 8, still side by side. The inside line for the Ferrari at turn 9, no contact between the two of them as of yet. The McLaren did go wide as we come over the crest towards turn 11. The Ferrari is on the inside. Looks like the McLaren is going to have the DRS though as we go along the back straight, and we've got Not So Vapor and Ace Senna overtaking each other, and now going past Bacon, Haddock, down towards turn 12. There's too much action going on more. There's too much I can't speak fast enough as Not So Vapor now goes on the inside of Ace Senna. The soft tyres working really well for the Mercedes driver, and there's a spin for Ace Senna. He's rounded onto the infield.
Yeah, it looks like contact there between Not So Vapor. Not So Vapor really tried to squeeze him on the inside line. As Vicensky makes a spin, and Ace Senna spins again, making contact with Viperez. So it looks like Ace Senna and Vicensky not having the best lap 18 there. But Not So Vapor was being really aggressive there, really tried to squeeze him to the inside line. I think what happened was Ace Senna got a bit too early on the power, made contact with Not So Vapor's rear wheel, and that sent him spinning. And then just 2 corners after that, Vicensky spun as he was trying to defend from Electric Envy, and it looks like Vicensky has to come into pit lane out, but he's down quite a few positions, and he was in such a great position in this race, but not anymore. And it now looks like the person who might be in the best position could be IRS Pro Striker. His tyres are going to be quite worn towards the end of the Grand Prix. He does have 3 lap fresher tyres than the top 2, and 1 lap fresher tyres than Not So Vapor. So I think Pro Striker and possibly Zudi, Viperez, Danny Stiller, all ones to watch in this Grand Prix, as Pro Striker right behind Not So Vapor now, and it's going to put him under quite a bit of pressure, because I'm sure IRS Pro Striker will be wanting to get by and show his pace in front of Not So Vapor. But as you can see, it looks like Ecos Yuki might be struggling for pace at this track. 4.7 seconds off Vestel Mango in the lead of this Grand Prix, and now up to 4.8, so he's just constantly losing time. But Mango's tyres, you're only really meant to take the soft tyres 12 laps. Well, if you're going by the game standards, 8 laps, which that's how old Mango's tyres are now, and he's going to try and stretch them for 16 laps. So he might be coming in for another stop, as Zudi is now into the pit lane. I wonder why that is.
Interesting. He must have got... We'll have a quick look. He must have had some damage. Sure, no. That I don't understand. Honestly, don't understand. He may know something that I don't, or we don't. Interesting. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Is Pro Striker is still within DRS of his rival ahead, Not So Vapor. It's a Mercedes 2-3 at the moment, with Mango in the lead, and his Pro Striker is going to go for the overtake this time. He hasn't got any battery to play with. No, just sits behind. I've got a feeling he's sitting behind strategically more, as Danny Stiller goes up the inside before the braking zone of turn 12. But the cutback for Vipers, and Danny Stiller cuts off that overtaking route as Vipers is trying to fight back. Are we going to see a cutback from the Alpine? Thinks about it, but decides to go for an overtake in a different part of the circuit, as we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. It's the Ferrari of Electric Envy. He's into the wall at the turns 17 and 18. And now he's facing the right way. Not sure if he's got damage, but it has damaged his points in the race by losing a few positions. He's now almost round again. Is around again and almost into the Red Bull there, who had to dive out of the way and dives into the pits. Driver's still coming into the pits, so maybe the tyre wear is a lot higher than we expected it to be.
Yeah, this is an extremely confusing race right now. I have no clue who's in the best position to win this, as Electric Envy, he's obviously very mad at that mistake, and he's come into the pit lane and actually retired from the session. That's a shame to see, but anyone's game here. The top 5 all on soft tyres. Can those soft tyres make it to the end, or will they have to come in for another set of softs? could this promote Danny Stillers and Viprez into the battle for the lead of the Grand Prix? And it's very mixed strategies here up and down the field, and a lot of penalties too. A lot of drivers have track limits penalties, apart from SL Mango, Danny Stillers and Viprez, who actually made a mistake there. It looked like he just did not turn in for the corner there, currently down in P7, and that's actually lost him a second to Danny Stillers ahead, and is now out of the DRS. And it looked like he actually broke for that triple right-hander, as it looks like Ikos Yuki has made a mistake. Kurt was P2, is now down into P4, and cooked his tyres after that spin out of the final turn. And I'm sure he's going to be very angry with that mistake. That promotes his teammate Notzer Vapor up into P2, with IRS Pro Striker now battling it out for P2 in this Grand Prix. But SL Mango's absolutely running away with this Grand Prix, but he's going to be in puncture territory quite soon, and this could invite Danny Stillers and Viprez into the battle. But it looks like Viprez might be having some sort of issue. He's it looks like his car is just reacting quite weirdly into the corners. For one turn, he just didn't turn at all, and for the triple right-hander in the third sector, he actually broke for that turn when it's usually somewhat flat out.
Pro Striker goes past Notzer Vapor for P2, and surely there's not enough tyre left for these drivers to the end of the race. Looking like what's happened around them, pit stops. So we'll just have to wait and see. Sorry for butting in more, but Mango, of course, is comfortably in the lead of this race. It's just started lap 23. So do we think Pro Striker and Notzer Vapor and Yuki are going to come into the pits? Because it's still a fair amount of laps to go, to be fair.
Yeah, well, knowing Mango and Yuki and how they tend to drive and what strategies they normally use, I'm gonna guess they're gonna stretch these tires for all they're worth. But that's gonna be a risky strategy, as Mango has actually disconnected from the session, and this isn't the first time this has happened. If you remember back to Austria, he had the exact same problem. Obviously has some internet issues, but he is disconnected from the session. He's going to be losing quite a bit of time to Pro Striker behind. As you can see, Pro Striker already has the gap below 5 seconds and constantly gaining. But let's hope Mango can get back into the session as quickly as possible, as Notzer Vapor now going for a move on Pro Striker. Pro Striker tries to fight back there, but it looks like Notzer Vapor is going to get up into P2 now, and in a decent position in this race, as Mango, as you can see, the gap's now 4.3 seconds, even with these two drivers battling away. Let's hope he can join as quickly as possible, and if he doesn't join quick enough, his AI might actually come into the pit lane, and I'd be right in saying that SL Mango's AI has come into the pit lane and is most likely going to box for soft compound tires. And as soon as he comes back into the session, his AI has boxed for him, and that small disconnection has led to his race being completely over. He's now disconnected once again, and this is really, it just hurts to see. Obviously the AI knowing that those softs will most likely not make it, and making the strategy call when Mango wasn't here. Mango's AI now down in P5, and if he doesn't join within the next 4 laps, if I'm not mistaken, I think he will get 0 points, as he finished under AI conditions. So it looks like Ikos Yuki might be getting some points over him, as it looks like Danny Stillers actually went around the outside up the hill on that left-hander. That was a great move from Danny Stillers, but is Ikos Yuki there? Because it looked like Danny Stillers had so much more grip. Obviously those medium tires way better than the softs at this stage, as Zayek has now retired from session, pulled into pit lane. Ekos Yuki going for the move on Danny Stillers, and he's made it. But as you can see, Danny Stillers' medium compound tyres are a lot faster than Ekos Yuki. You can just see the grip difference between the two drivers is absolutely immense. Ekos Yuki defending the inside line for all he's worth, and as Ekos Yuki defends this position, it could be putting his teammate in quite a nice spot, as I'm sure he'll be doing this to try and keep his teammate in a good space, as it looks like Danny Stillers makes contact with the back of him, and Ekos Yuki defending the inside line for the final turn, but Danny Stillers just has so much more traction coming out of that turn, and Danny Stillers is now going to be on the hunt for the top two positions, as Mango has now rejoined.
Big hunt for Danny Stillers, 15 seconds. I'd love to see it, but I just don't see it happening with the amount of laps we have left. It's looking like a two-way fight for the win between Not So Vapor and Pro Strikers. And you might say, yeah, they've got penalties, but they've got exactly the same penalties. 6 seconds, 12 seconds between the two of them, 6 seconds each. As just in the comments from Husky13, let's go. And he's looking forward to watching the final laps of this race. Vineski, though, is out. I think this might be a little bit late for a safety car. Or is it? I think we might just be at that. Might just be at that point, Morb, where I think a safety car is just going to be a little bit too late in the day. Unfortunately, that would have really mixed it up at the end of the race. So it still looks like Not So Vapor and Pro Striker are going to be the ones fighting for the win, unless something dramatic happens.
Yeah, I think it's definitely too late for a safety car now. 3 laps to go, but as you said, Danny Stillers, I definitely do not see him catching that 15-second gap. But the chance that he does have is that one of these two drivers gets a puncture. Not So Vapor's tyre is now up to 12 laps old, and as you can see, it looks like Mango has rejoined the session and makes contact with Danny Stillers there. But Mango has rejoined the session. Thankfully, is going to be racing for the last 3 laps. His AI has boxed for him and is on the fresh soft compound tyres. And as you can see, they're gaining so much time, almost gained a full second in the matter of just a few corners. Could Mango catch up to the top 2? It's going to be an absolutely monumental task for Mango. But if any of the top 2 get a puncture, he could be looking at a win, as IRS Pro Striker goes down the inside of Not So Vapor into turn 12, and he's got that move done, moves himself up into P1.
See, if these gentlemen knew what was going on right now, if they have any idea, in my head, I would be saying I wouldn't want to be fighting for this win until the final lap. I'd be wanting to work together to keep Mango away from that 6 seconds. Because, of course, he doesn't have to catch up. He's got 6 seconds to make up in 2 and a third laps now.
Yeah, and I mean, the gap between Mango and Not So Vapor was 14 seconds at the end of Sector 1, and in the matter of just 2 sectors, Mango has caught up 3 seconds, and if he keeps up this pace, he will be looking at a Grand Prix win, as he sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. 2 seconds faster than Zayek's previous time, and Mango is absolutely flying and is just chasing down the top 2. The top 2 have no grip left in their tyres, whereas Mango, maybe his AI boxing for him has led him in the right direction, has that him out, and can he catch the top 10 by 6 seconds? He's only got 3 seconds to close down now. It was 11 seconds at the start of this lap. It's now 9 seconds at the end of the first sector, as Not So Vapor goes for a move on Pro Striker down into turn 12, and these guys are really going to be worrying now, as there's just 2 laps to go.
This is going to be very close. We've got Yuki, Viperez and Azuti all fighting for that 5th place. They have all got penalties, however. The only two who haven't got penalties, Danny Stiller and Mango. They're nose to tail, these three drivers. We've got Yuki on the inside. We've now got Zuti on the inside, looking even further to the inside on the Mercedes of Yuki. Goes up the inside of Viperez. He loses 2 positions. Yuki goes up into 5th place. But we're about to go on to the final lap, literally right now. And Mango has only got 2.5 seconds to make up in 1 lap.
Yeah, and it looks like as soon as he sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix, but I think you flicked off that battle at just the wrong time.
Pro Striker.
Ecos Yuki is spun, and IRS Pro Striker's made a mistake as well. It looks like he might have, no, he doesn't have a puncture, he's got way too much speed, but it looks like he made a mistake there. So did Ecos Yuki, down in P9 of 15 lap old soft compound tyres. The mistake up into P2, chasing down Not Sir Vapor. Ecos Yuki comes into pit lane, he's down in P10. This could be a massive point haul for SL Mango. Can he catch up the 1.7 second gap he needs to on Not Sir Vapor up ahead? He's going to be pushing like absolutely mad for these final 2 sectors. And can he catch up this gap? He's got the fresh soft compound tyres. RS Pro Striker throwing away any chance at a top 2 in this race, and it looks like his teammate might overtake him after the penalties. Ecos Yuki down in P10 after a mistake and a little bit of contact, I think, between himself and Zudi. Just a 1 second gap to go for SL Mango, and only so many turns left as we enter the final sector of this Grand Prix.
This is going to be so close. This is going to be the closest race finish. I think he's going to get it. Not Sir Vapor is now going to come around the final corner. He's got 3 tenths to get the race win. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've just joined us, Mango left the session. The AI took over for quite a while. It's now down to the final corner. It looks like Mango's going to take the win, and he doesn't. He doesn't. He just loses out. What happened there at the end? It looked like it was all for him, but Not Sir Vapor takes the USA Group 2 Grand Prix win.
I'm not sure. I'm truly not sure. That must have been some sort of glitch in the game system, possibly because he left and rejoined, or something's happened there. But
it looked like he was in, but did he just get a really bad final corner? Or
yeah, it said 5.9 seconds just before he crossed the line.
Yeah, it did.
And as you can see there, it says Not Sir Vapor finished ahead of him, but I think what's happened there is that the game, maybe there's a glitch that SL Mango joined and rejoined, but I think the stewards are going to have to look into that. Obviously, they'll have this stream to check if Mango had any penalties before he crossed the line, and if it turns out that he didn't have any penalties, then I think the stewards are going to give him the win. So, for me, that's down to a game glitch. For me, I think SL Mango has just won that Grand Prix. I think the stewards are going to look into that, and we'll be sure to get back to you for the next race, and we'll have all of that information once the post-steward results come out.
And if you want to check it out a little bit earlier on, check us out on official LGE for the standings and classifications. After every event, we'll show you the top 3 after every event in LFR and LSR. So, that was an exciting final lap of the race and an exciting USA Grand Prix. Not Sir Vapor takes the win for the meantime. It's looking like SSL Mango is going to take the victory, but he is on second place as it stands. Danny Stillers is in 3rd place. Pro Striker was 4th. Viperez was 5th. 6th was Vacant Hancock. Vacant Haddock. Zuti was in 7th. A-Center was 8th. 9th was Santo. Yuki was 10th. Vaneski was 11th. Zayek was 12th. And did not finish the Grand Prix, along with Electric Envy, Godfather, Warrior Cloud, Quick Killers, and Alexis Beast. All did not finish the Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I'm just having a quick look here on the timing boards on the right hand side, and it said Yuki had 0 penalties, and Not Sir Vapor had 6 seconds. And I also noticed another thing when I was looking at the 2 drivers at the end of the race. I had the lap data on in the top right, and it said that Not to Vapor finished in 48 minutes and 58 seconds. But then on the timing boards at the end of the Grand Prix, it said he finished in 49 minutes and 4 seconds. So I think the game hasn't applied the 6-second penalty. So I think the win is going to go to SL Mango, and that is going to be an absolutely massive points haul and a crucial one for SL Mango, and a 65-point lead for Ikos Yuki is now going to come down to a 44-point lead. 43, as Mango also had the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So that's a massive points haul for Mango. Ikos Yuki making a late race mistake, as I think there was contact between himself and Zudi, causing him to lose his front wing and come in for new tires. Possibly got a puncture, I'm not too sure. But it looks like Mango disconnecting from the session and his AI boxing for him. It looks like that was the perfect strategy for him, and some bad internet has actually helped him out in this Grand Prix.
It certainly has indeed. That was a fantastic race to watch and to commentate, and to bring it all to you at home. A quick announcement. Thank you very much, everyone. We have hit the 200 subscriber mark, so almost 18 months into the channel. We've got to 200 subscribers, and that's what we were hoping by the end of the 2021 games. Thank you from everyone on LSR who has subscribed. Please keep subscribing to the channel. Let's get it growing even further. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this Grand Prix. Looks like Mango is going to take the victory. As I said, check it out on our Twitter and Instagram at official LGE. So make sure to check that one out. We're back tomorrow for the same time, local time for us, me and Mort, 9:30, 4:30 Eastern time if you're across the pond in the United States and Canada. And I think it's 12. I think is it 1 o'clock or 1:30? I think in California as well for Formula Jonah. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. So we'll be back tomorrow for Group 1's United States Grand Prix as well, and then you'll be back with me on Monday for the Singapore Grand Prix for Monday's Limitless 1 in LFR for the Tier 1. So I'm not sure. I might be back with you tomorrow night, guys, for the Group 1 United States Grand Prix. So make sure to check that out. Please make sure to keep subscribing to the channel, as I said, to get us over the 200 mark now. Like the video and leave some comments down below. We are going to have an overtakes of the week video, which I'm going to get some of the LSR admins to hopefully make a channel in your Discord, so you can submit your footage for best overtake of the week alongside the broadcast, the live stream as well. And this will be a mix of LFR and LSR overtakes. We'll do a top 5 every week, so make sure to watch and check that one out. So thank you, Mort, for joining me for this one, or me joining you actually, as it's you usually running the show, and I'll be with you next week hopefully for the Bahrain Grand Prix, which hopefully Mango will serve his qualifying ban.
Yeah, I mean, that was an amazing race. Glad to commentate with you for this race, and I won't be commentating tomorrow because I'll be racing for Red Bull. But I hope to see you all there for the LSR Group 1, and then obviously LFR bringing some action on Monday at 8 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken.
7:30.
So
close enough.
Oh, 7:30, sorry. So make sure to check out all of the streams for all of this amazing racing content, and if tomorrow's race is anything like this one, you'll have to join along. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Hope you all have a good day.
Yeah, thank you very much. So have a good evening. If you're in the UK, have a good day. If you're in North America, thanks very much for watching, and join us tomorrow for LSR's Group 1 race for the United States Grand Prix. Thank you very much.